Yeah, kid! Welcome everybody back to another episode of the Handsome Homebuyer podcast. I am your host, none other than the man, the myth, the self-proclaimed legend in his own mind, the Handsome Homebuyer. Today's episode obviously is brought to none other than Captain Permit. You need permits, you need plans, you need expediting. Captain Permit, 516-777 sold. On the flip side, obviously, you know, if you have a house that smells like cat pee, is dated from the 1960s, has 6 inches of mold on the wall, a human waste floating past the basement steps, I'm your guy. When you smell cat pee, I want you to think of me, and I'm not going to be offended by that. Call me, 516-777 sold. Land, commercial property, new development, stinky houses, best areas, worst areas. I don't care. It's that easy. All right, so today's guest is nothing short of fabulous. I have known her for, 25?
25 years.
How old were you when you were in 6th grade?
I don't know, but we didn't figure that out. Gosh.
So I've known her for longer than I would like to say that, like, it's sad when you get to the point when you're old enough where you could be like, I've known you for 25 years, for 30 years, etc. Regardless, she's an amazing person. She's an amazing friend. She's an amazing mother, a businesswoman. I have a tremendous amount of respect for her. She has hustle like no other. She's in the top 1% of just everything. She's someone you need to know, somebody you need to have on your team. If you don't know her, you need to, and she'll give you your information. You should reach out to her. Christina Shaw of the Shaw Agency, Allstate, Wantor Avenue in Wantor.
Love it.
Welcome.
Hello. Love it, love it, love it.
Good to have you here. I feel like I've been trying to get you here for a long time.
We've been trying this for a few weeks.
Yes.
And I was worried that today we were supposed to have a 10:30, so that's good that got canceled.
I like to think that I'm a pretty busy person, but you're probably the busiest person I know, and impressively so, because you seem to, or at least it's an illusion, that you balance everything so well. Because you were a single mother of 2, you have an unbelievable business, you are just a savage in business, and I mean that in a great way, yet you seem to have a personal life and be very everything
I have awesome work-life balance, and it's cool that you said that because I had to work really hard on that.
I don't even know how you did it, because I myself would like to do that, but I don't.
I had kids like you're going to do soon.
I mean, you just showed me that video, and part of me is like, so Christina just showed me a video of her youngest daughter, who's adorable, and I'm like, oh, that's really cute on the one hand. On the other hand, I'm just like, am I ready for that? Like,
it's the best, and that's what helped me get that work-life balance.
Yeah?
Is when I was pregnant with Mia, my therapist looked at me, and he said, Christina, there are only so many slices of the pizza pie. How many slices do you want to give to your career? And I said, well, no, I
feel like I got to meet this guy.
We could do an intro. I'm going to be the best Allstate agent and the best mother and the best wife. We know how the wife part works out. But here's what happened. When I had Mia, I actually...
Mia's your first, right?
Mia's the first. My business exploded. It went from...
Wow.
It went from really good to unbelievable because I only had this many hours in the day.
So it forces you to be more efficient?
I was more efficient, and I'm more focused because that time with the kids is so valuable to me.
See, that's really interesting. And you know what? That I actually like, because typically when I have these conversations is with guys in the real estate world who tend to be like older Jewish guys who are usually religious. And when I talk to them about this, they're just like, have kids, they're amazing, have 30 kids, because that's what religious Jews do. They have 30 kids. And they're just like, when you have kids, God will just provide. And I'm like, that's not the answer I'm looking for.
No,
from you.
I mean, God bless, but that's not my experience.
Yeah, I don't think just you have a lot of kids and God's like, here's a shitload of money because you have kids. I don't think it works that way.
No, it hasn't in this world.
At least in my mind. So that makes me feel better. That makes a lot more sense. I'll get there. I'm not there yet.
When you're there, you'll know. Well, actually, that's not true. I take that back. When I told people guys, I'm pregnant. They're like, you? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have a baby. It was
why I always picture
because I didn't have that maternal instinct that then just comes. And
is that what as it the kid comes out and it's just there? I
think it took a little bit to develop for me. I think in the beginning I struggled with how to do it all, and now it's like I said, the most amazing thing in the world. I can't wait to go home. I have a half day today, picking up Mac, picking up Mia. We'll go for an early dinner. We're gonna bake tonight. And then I'll exercise when they go to bed. And
I mean,
but my balance is easier because I am divorced, right? So on my off time,
I don't know. I'm not married, and I have no balance.
So maybe you need to get married and have some kids.
Maybe that'll give me
Plug
balance.
for Christina.
But like, so that's why, like, when I, at least from the outside, everybody looks. I never like to assume anything, and everybody looks at like other people's businesses and they assume certain things. And I'm sure like everybody has ups and downs, and their days are chaos, and everyone deals with crazy business problems all the time, regardless of like what you think. So, but I want to kind of, I guess, touch base. You've had your own agency for almost 10 years.
So I have been with Allstate for 17 years, but I bought my agency in 2009.
Okay, your father had an Allstate, and that's how you got in. Is that how you got into Allstate?
I started the business because he was an Allstate agent.
Okay.
After he retired, and I was up in SUNY Albany, and I called home and said, I think I'm going to be a social worker. This is my calling.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I love people. I love problems. To help. And so,
they just don't make any money, though.
Well, that's what happened.
Is that what your dad said to
So
you?
he didn't actually just say it. He drove up to Albany, and 3 hours later, he was like, in so many words, girl, this is not going to work for you.
Wow. You got to love him for that.
Yes, I have a lot of respect for his work ethic and his direction.
I bet for him to literally, like, it's something out of a movie, I guess. Right. I mean, I'm picturing it that way, so let's pretend it happened this way, even if it didn't. He puts the phone down, doesn't respond to you, puts the phone down, drives 3 hours.
Pretty much how it happens.
To knock on your dorm room to be like, what are you thinking?
This is not going to work, plan B. And I got an insurance license. Wow. I worked part-time at an Allstate in college. Okay. And then when I graduated, the incredible Tom Whalen gave me a job.
I love Tom.
And
he always looks
he's
so
my
put
brother.
Oh,
he is so
dapper.
He's not ever going to hear this. He wouldn't know how to do a podcast.
Really?
Yeah. Well, he made podcasts. I'll have to ask
I wasn't
him.
saying that for him. I was saying it because it's true.
No, I know that. But
there's not even a hair out of place. That dude's like put together, composed.
And his family is awesome. So anyway, I started working for Tom. We had some other businesses along the way. And then in 2009, I bought my own agency.
Wow. Yeah, and you have a mortgage background. You're a real estate agent as well. Like, you don't really do any of those things.
No, I'm not a practicing agent. Yeah. In 2012, I decided to stop practicing real estate. I kept my license active, and especially that I'm blessed that 80% of my business comes from real estate agents. So
yeah, so I think that's an important thing for agents to know, because it's like, you've walked in their shoes. Like, you've walked in mortgage people. You do a ton of business with mortgage people.
I understand ratios. I understand that you need a binder, you need a paid receipt, and you don't want the homeowner's insurance or the flood insurance to be part of any problem that you're dealing with. Yeah. And you want your customer taken care of. I like to call it, well, actually, I didn't coin this phrase. I definitely stole it from somebody. But it's like filing down the rough edges. Like, Christina just makes your life easy. So why was it insurance? So he said to you, you're not going to do this, and you just happen to get a part-time job working in insurance, so you're like, oh, this is great, I'm going to do this? Or well, because he was an agent at the time. Okay. He had started an Allstate agency after he retired from NYPD. I got a license. I worked part-time, and then after school, when Tom offered me that position, it was a good salary. I don't think I said, oh my God, I dream about selling insurance. Oh, so you worked for Tom originally? I worked for Tom for a lot of years. Oh, shit. And he offered me a really strong salary where my friends were getting offers of half of that. So I said, oh, I'll try this. And I love it. But I didn't like wake up and say, I think I'm going to be an Allstate agent. Yeah, I was just curious to know. Yeah. But it's always interesting to see like how things develop, right? Like how did people ask me like, oh, how do you ever become a real estate investor? And I'm like, this is boring. You really want to hear this? And I think about it. I'm just like, I guess if you're a person and you're at a crossroads in your life and you're trying to figure out like what it is that you want to do, it's kind of interesting to see how successful people got to where they are, in the sense where they're like, this is what I want to commit to. Yeah. Because I guess like, so you guys, if you don't know Christina, you need to know Christina. But she like. Let me tell you, this sums up Christina's work ethic, right? I tell people this story all the time. Do you know what I'm going to say? I think I know what you're going to say. Right? This is so ridiculous that I tell, whenever I'm like, listen, do you know Christina Shaw? They're like, no. I'm like, well, you need to know Christina Shaw. Let me explain to you in one quick story who Christina Shaw is. I think I was selling a house in a flood zone. I think it was in Wantaw, so I wanted to attach a flood quote to the listing so people saw that it wasn't like $4 million. It was like right after Sandy, and everyone's freaking out. They're like, "Oh Jesus, flood insurance is going to be like $9,000 a year. I'm going to go bankrupt over the flood insurance." So of course she does that, and her staff is fabulous. And I'm texting her, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm in labor."
Like, literally, you were in labor with your
Yes,
first daughter. You
yes.
were there. Like, I would like, again, because I have a flair for the dramatic, to think you were like, our mid-contraction, pushing 1 second, texting me with one hand in the next while like squeezing Jamie's hand.
Hold that baby. I need to tell handsome Hombuyer what the flood zone is.
Hold on. So, but I mean, yes, that's a little bit dramatic, but she was actually texting me from
I love what I do. I literally, I look at my kids and I say, if there's one of a few things I could show you in life, it's wake up every day and bounce out of that bed and like just love what you do, because everything else will follow. So
that was going to be kind of like my next question. So you're
like, let me take control of this, Shaw. Back to
and back to me. So you have like, you just have an intense hustle. I describe it as like within myself, just kind of like this fire that burns, and it's just like, you got to do it. Right. And I guess I want to kind of see for you, like, what's your motivator? What's your why? Like, what is it that like fuels you to be basically the best?
Thank you. I think it's a few different things. Right now, I would say it's to just give my kids a life that they deserve to have. I want them to come home every day to a peaceful, beautiful, comfortable home. I want to travel with them. I want them to see the world. Like, they should know that life outside of Lido Beach exists. So that hustle, if I could take them all over the world, and that's like education, right? Not just sitting in the classroom learning your 2 + 2. Financial freedom. I worry a lot. Like, earlier in my career, I just worry, right? Like, am I going to be okay? And will I have enough for retirement? I think that just always keeps me going. Yeah. That I want to build like a little mini empire. And I have people that depend on me, like my team. That also, when you sit back, and I'm sure you do this, and I'm like, oh my God, I have like all these people that depend on this agency and their families. And that makes me really want to rock for them.
When you really like, you're driving, you be successful, and then you get to a certain point, and then you kind of look around and you realize that there's a lot of people that depend on you, and that sometimes can be the most unnerving part of anything. For me, I'm like, oh, listen, worst comes to worst, it doesn't work out, I'll go back and live with my mom, which is amazing anyway. Yeah. She cooks her ass off and does my laundry. So like, what's the worst thing that happens? But then you think about all the people that you support and like how that kind of like, how that fans out. Like the wake of that, and how many people you support, and you could end up supporting hundreds of people, thousands of people, whatever. That's a lot of responsibility.
And then I think also my customers, like, I'm just blessed that I have these loyal customers and new customers, and taking care of them, because I had a house fire, as we know, 2 years ago, and I lost my entire house and everything I owned at the time in 36 years. And if you are not properly protected, forget about like that emotional piece. There's nothing I could do, right? But you will be financially devastated if you are not properly insured.
Yes.
So that also makes me want to make sure all of my customers, God forbid that day hits, they're like, wow, she protected me. She did the right thing. She didn't just write me what I had at Geico, because that's what Geico insured me at.
No, listen, insurance is like you hate paying for it until you need it, but like it is like it's the most. I mean, speaking of personal experience, it's the most valuable thing. And listen, crazy shit will happen. Like your house burns down because you know what was it? It was like
my fireplace.
Yeah,
I tell this story of like additional living expense, right? When your house burns down, you still have to pay your mortgage. Beth Page isn't, I still have to pay them every month. But my girls and I had to live somewhere. And my rent, because I live in a beach community, right? And I needed a furnished house, and
it's got to be crazy money.
It was more than my mortgage. So life is good, but life is not that good for me to pay my mortgage and rent and rebuild my house. If I didn't have that additional living expense, I would have been bankrupt, or I would have been living with my mother, who would not be doing my laundry and cooking me, even though I love my mochi.
I got a quick random question. If you had to choose only between one thing for the rest of your life, coffee or wine, what would it be?
Coffee.
Okay, just curious.
Espresso. Triple espresso, scoop of foam. Who's ever listening and you want to get into my heart, that's the way to show up at 2086 Montauk Avenue.
No wine, huh?
I do love my wine, but espresso powers me through the day.
All right, just curious to know.
Yeah,
I know those are like
it's
your two things.
It's so sad that you don't drink either. It's amazing, actually.
Either. Well, I worked in a 7-Eleven from the time I was like 14 years old to the time I was like 20. So I've gotten enough like coffee through just osmosis to probably last me the rest of my life.
I forgot you worked at a 7. You're right.
That was the greatest job I ever had.
Yeah.
Love that thing.
7-Eleven does have good hazelnut coffee.
Do they?
Yeah.
I've tried every coffee with every like nonsense creamer that you could put in. I don't like it.
God bless. I think it's amazing that you don't need caffeine or wine.
That and well, what does wine do for you?
Oh, I just love a good glass of red wine.
Yeah, it tastes like vinegar to me.
Oh, you're drinking the wrong wine then.
I think they all pretty much taste the same.
No,
it's just a different version.
You're going to give me a heart attack.
I'm sorry. I mean, well, listen. When you first drank a glass of wine, were you like, "Oh, this wine's awesome"? Like, I love it out of the gate.
You learn about it, right? You know, like for example, I don't like a Merlot. I don't like white wine; it's too sweet. I like something dry. I'm boring you. I know,
I
but
just
you
like
learn what you like.
I'm like, I feel like I've tried all these things, and it's just like, I just feel like they're trying to mask something that tastes nasty with other stuff. That's how I feel about coffee too. I'm like, why do people need to put all this shit in their coffee? I just drink
it black. Straight up.
Yeah.
Say.
So then you're a purist. You can say I like coffee.
Yeah.
But when someone gets a coffee and they fill it like half of the way and then they load it up with like hazelnut crap, 14 sugars and milk.
It's a heart attack waiting to happen. Like when I'm in Starbucks and I'm looking at somebody, I'm like, you do know that's like 1,200 calories, right?
Really?
Some of these drinks, those frappuccinos, like that's not good for you.
I'm convinced that Starbucks has a crack pump.
They must.
One of those freaking pumps back there, it's crack. It's crack. It's
Yeah.
something like insanely highly addictive. I don't know what the hell it is. None of it's labeled. Lord only knows. But I just have a feeling that, yes.
Speaking in business, when there was a point in the business when I was splitting up some partnerships with Tom, and I thought, oh my God, am I going to be able to like financially do this? And I always thought, well, I could always be a barista at Starbucks part-time. They give you health insurance. And then, I was like, oh, and I'm friendly, so I'd be good at that. But I'd suck at making people's drinks. But I wouldn't screw it up because I know the importance of getting it right.
So I want to talk about certain parts of your business that I admire you for. I admire you for a lot of different things, obviously, but these are certain things where I'm like, this is her thing. So the first part is you have a sick team of people. Like, you have a sick team of people. And I would like to, I mean, they're great by themselves, and I'm not taking anything away from them, but I kind of feel like, obviously, there's a Sicilian saying that's like, the fish stinks from the head down, right? So, like, the organizational structure, how you treat them, standard operating procedures that you implement, like, things like that. Like, I come up with crazy ideas and I'll work a million hours and I can, bring in business. But the thing that I lack is the organizational structure. Like I kind of need like a yin to my yang in that respect. So like I try to hire for that because I know like what I'm good at and what I'm not good at.
Which is awesome.
But there's struggles. It doesn't matter like how big, there's always struggles. Like doesn't matter how big the business is. So, I mean, kind of like advice or just feedback or general comments on how you put your team together, how you continue to grow it, how you maintain them, how do you keep them as... I mean, you call Christina's office and they're like just farting sunshine through the phone, right?
That's
like
awesome. Yeah.
It's so, just to talk about that.
Well, it wasn't always like that. I had to make years of hiring mistakes. And it's like so much so that around the table on Christmas Eve, they'll tell like funny stories of all the people I unfortunately had to let go because I used to not be good at it. And then finally, I was so tired of just having like some people on my team rock and then some people totally suck. Yeah. So we started like having people shadow before we gave them a job because I would say, I need to really like you, but I need you to really like me. Like we're spending so much time together.
It's very smart.
We have to be in sync. And I just treat them how Tom used to treat me. Like every day, like thanks for your effort, thanks for your help, you're awesome. And I realize people want financial compensation, and that's a thing. I pay them very well. A lot of Allstate agents say like, how much do you pay your people? And I'm like, my people rock. So I pay them to rock. But I also like today we're having sushi for lunch. Kate's leaving at 1:00 because she's going upstate with her family for the weekend. I have no idea how much time people take off. I'm like, do handstands on your desk. Take care of our customers and write new business.
Yeah.
And the rest will follow. If you want to leave early, if you want to see Joe's play, I don't care about that stuff.
Yeah, just as long as as things get done.
And I also think the leader or the owner, whoever, the manager, has to be involved. Like, nobody could ever turn around and be like, well, she doesn't work. I mean, I'm there. I know their jobs better than they know their jobs, and they know that.
Huh. That's it. So, but when it comes to scaling, right? What are kind of some of the hiccups you've experienced, kind of the growing pains of that? And I'm sure you continue to do that as you grow, because you're the kind of person that's not happy.
Oh, I know. I'm like, when am I ever just going to be content?
My real estate mentor Carl says to me, he's like, listen, he's like, how much is enough? Like, what do you need? Like, if you can have X amount of dollars to just, have rentals and stay home, and if you had kids, go to every sporting event, but that's why I asked you kind of what your motivator was and what the drive was, because for everybody it's different.
Yeah.
For me, it's not the money. I don't care. I live in a tiny apartment. I mean, listen, financial freedom is amazing.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. That's amazing. But do you need a Ferrari? Do you need a crazy house that's 6,000 square feet with 30 bedrooms that nobody ever goes into?
Yeah.
Do you need that? No. I need the game.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
So what are kind of this makes me feel better about myself when I feel like shit's going wrong. So what kind of shit goes wrong in your life?
Oh my, well, geez.
Not on a personal side.
I'm like, well, I'm a Lifetime movie. Let's talk about the house burning down, the divorce. No, we won't go there. Don't worry, Jamie Shaw. The scaling, that's interesting that you said that, though, because I had somebody leave about 1.5 years ago who was awesome. Dana. She was a really solid customer service.
Oh, I loved her.
Yeah, she was really good. And when she left, I got stomach pains that day, I remember.
Really?
I know. I was like, oh, man. I made the decision to replace her position with 2 people.
Wow.
And that was really scary for me, because now I was taking on another salary. But I knew in order to deliver that superstar service,
wow,
I had to segment those roles. And then a few months later, I took Kate on because Sandy and I were doing the sales. And I knew if I wanted to really grow the business, I needed to get out of the sales.
Yeah.
And so Kate's now been with us for about 6 months. I haven't sold in 6 months.
That's amazing.
It's really hard to give up some of that control, especially in the beginning when you're listening. And I'm like, oh my God, if I was on the phone, I could have just closed the auto, the home, the flood, the umbrella, and wrote the life insurance.
Yeah.
And you're telling them you're going to call them back. And now she's awesome. So it's giving up some of that control to grow.
What's your, I'm curious to know, what's your training process like?
Oh, God. I wish I knew what my training process was
It
like.
makes you feel better. Okay.
Oh, a training process.
I just feel we should be super corporate and have these books and everything's going to be so smooth.
Nobody teaches you. I went to SUNY Albany.
Pandemonium all the time.
I didn't go to Wharton School of Business. My training process is I pray to God it's going to work out. And every day I just make sure that they learn something new.
But it's so hard because you're like, all right, I have to train you, but I don't have any time to train you because I have to go bring in business.
Yes.
I was thinking, I'm like, listen, I need to buy 30 houses this month. So let me throw all this shit in your lap and hopefully you're smart enough to figure it out.
Or get them to the point.
Mark, you're the man. No, you're gone. Whatever. Anyway, see?
Mark was the man. I liked him.
Mark is the man.
I like that he wanted to see pictures of my kids. I was like, oh, he
loves
nice.
kids. Mark really is supposed to be. So for guys, Mark is a CFO. He's basically my financial backbone. He basically runs my life. Right? He's my male Emily. Emily, if you're out there, we miss you. But he's going to be a pastor. He needs to be a pastor. Can you see it?
That? Yes.
He's a very religious man, but at the same time, it's not bullshit. When he gives you advice and it's coming from a slightly holy place, it's oh yeah, this is real. I can relate to this.
Yes.
I want to get shirts made up saying Mark Francis is my religion. And I was like, bro, I would convert.
That is awesome.
So that's his and then recently, I've been telling him this for years, and then recently I found out that he actually has pastors in his family. I'm like, bro, why wouldn't you tell me
Peter
this?
on my team is a pastor?
No.
Pierre.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
At a church in his hometown church in Jersey.
Really?
I was on YouTube once and I'm like, whoa, is that Pierre? I didn't know what he was saying because he was
Is his
speaking Spanish.
Pierre?
His name's Peter, but we call him Pierre because that's another thing. You got to laugh during the day. I laugh my way through the day.
Oh, absolutely.
It causes some wrinkles on my forehead and what is this called?
Crow's feet?
Crow's feet, yeah. But it's all good. I'm not pretending to be 20.
So, but you gave him a French name. He's a Spanish guy.
I know, but people would call the office and be like, I talked to Fred, I talked to Joe. And I guess one day somebody said Pierre and it just stuck.
Yeah, all right, that's your Pierre.
Yeah.
All right, that's interesting.
So next time you call, make sure you ask for Pierre.
Pierre. No, and again, like, you call Christina's office, like, you guys use technology, like,
yes.
Everything's like text to this, that. It's we
want to make
crazy.
it easy for the customer because think about whatever you're doing in your life, whether it's your banking or whatever it is, you just need it to be easy and efficient. And you want to have a relationship with that person. So if something happens, they know who you are, and that's what we want.
That's awesome. I'm literally writing down that I have to implement some kind of text to call thing for the Captain Permit business.
Zip whip.
Yeah.
Zip whip.
Aaron Bates.
Love Aaron and Rebecca.
Bates, right?
Yeah, of course. I wish I couldn't be there last night because I just got in from Chicago. They had like a little thing at the meatball place.
I know they invited me to. I had a midterm, which
You're a superstar.
Scratched my eyes out until 9:30 taking this CMBS Capital Markets midterm on mortgage-backed securities,
That
which
sounds sexy.
made me feel like a moron. I'm like, I know this shit. I'm like, I don't know any of this shit. I said to the professor, I'm like, I'm 38 years old. I've probably taken a million tests more than I want to. This is the hardest thing ever. Like, why would you do this to me?
Wow.
So,
but anyway, Aaron Bates.
Here's the point.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing me back.
You're welcome. I'm good at that. A 3 and a 5-year-old, you have to do that. Let's get back to what we were talking about.
So he's like, hey, did you speak to a coworker of mine for Captain Permit? I gave her your number. She had some permit problems. I'm like, no, I haven't. He's like, oh, she texts the Captain Permit line. I'm like, doesn't get text messages.
Zip Whip, $19.99 a month. Justin Ellis, Zip Whip.
Zip
Whip.
Okay. Zip Whip.
Zip Whip, Justin Ellis.
Who's Justin Ellis?
That's who you're going to talk to at Zip Whip.
Does it work with my internet phones?
Yeah, it absolutely does. And whatever your Captain Permit number is, when they text it, it'll come right to you. I'll pull it up when we're finished so you can see it. It's awesome. Pictures.
You got to show me how this thing works because it's like so. If Ryan is in the field, he has
There'll be an app on the phone.
He has the app on the phone.
Absolutely.
Do you have internet phones?
Yes.
Okay, so he has the app on the phone,
Yep.
so it'll call him there. The text messaging will go to there?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's sexy.
Yes. And it's so easy for people then to call or text.
Will that also get recorded and sent as an email?
I don't know. You have to ask Justin. That's where
Justin
I still
Ellis.
use a Filofax, so.
Justin Ellis, I'm coming for you. Yeah, I'm not the most tech. I mean, you guys appear to be very tech.
I have a
savvy. I'm not
Rolodex on my
tech
desk.
savvy.
I'm 38, and I have a Rolodex.
I just prefer to talk to people. Like, people are like, you're calling me? Like, why the hell are you calling me? Can't we just do this in text?
Well,
Can we just have our life in a
when
text?
I'm internet dating, which that's a whole nother story. But
Best thing ever.
So when people are like, "Can I call you?" I'm like,
Wait,
"Oh."
are you internet dating or are you like app dating?
Well, I met the person that I'm currently dating on Bumble.
Okay.
But like,
so it's not right. So you're app dating.
App dating, I guess.
That's
It's through the right? No. Okay.
No, because I feel like internet dating's dead, which really makes me upset because it puts me at such a handicap.
What's the difference? What do you mean?
So, all right. So when you're internet dating, and for those of you who don't know, I internet dated for like 20 years. Fucking best thing ever. One of these things that I fought my dad on forever until he actually made a bogus profile for me. Did I ever tell you this?
No.
So I was like 17. I think I was like 18 years old or 19 years old, some shit like that. And my dad owned a Mako in Brooklyn at the time, and he had a daily news rep back in the day we used to advertise in newspapers.
That's awesome.
Before those things went extinct.
Yellow
right?
pages.
That's so fucking
We
sad.
still have Allstate agents advertising in the yellow pages. I'm
No.
like, folks, this is probably why business isn't doing so well.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
So he had and this guy was recently divorced, and he's like, I'm killing it on this website called Lava Life, where you would like buy credits, and every time you emailed somebody, it would like cost you X amount of credits, whatever. So he made me a profile, and all of a sudden I started getting emails from girls. I'm like, what the hell is this? Because I fought him the whole way. I'm like, listen, I don't want to do this. This is weak.
Yes.
Fast forward, I'm like, this is the sickest thing ever. It's like shopping from the comfort of your own home.
That's what Steph always says. She's
amazing.
I don't know that it's the best thing ever, but nobody's ringing my doorbell saying, Christina, I hear you're like this amazing woman you want to date.
Which is true.
Thank you.
But
people want to talk on the phone, and there's a
you don't care about talking on the phone.
No, I'm cool with it, but you don't want to like get lost in phone conversation either. Like, let's meet, right?
Yeah,
let's get aggressive.
well,
Let's meet, because if there's nothing there, then why are we wasting our time?
Well, that's the killer businesswoman in you. That's like,
let's get to the point.
And it's also a matter of like, you don't have a lot of time.
No, I don't have a lot of
like,
time.
Like you literally like some people like they just don't get it. When I was younger and not as busy, I didn't get it either. Like I would try to like talk to certain people that were very busy, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this guy's an asshole.
Yeah,
like,
no.
No, you really get to the point where you're so busy. It's like, listen, bro, like I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want to talk to you for years. I don't have time.
Yeah.
It's like 14 meetings, and I got to drive to freaking Calvert to look at a piece of shit house in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Christina's like, get me out of here at 10:15 because I have 300 meetings, and then I have to hang out with my kids, and then I'm going on a date tonight. It's like it just.
I wish I was going on a date tonight, but Monday night.
Monday night's date night?
Monday night, yeah, that's when we don't have our kids next. But
right.
I shouldn't be talking about him on a podcast. 2 months
Sorry.
in, that's too soon to talk about on a podcast.
No, we're talking about everything. There's no secrets here.
Yeah, no, I know that.
This isn't a G-rated show. So what else do I want to ask you? I have a ton of shit I want to ask you. All right, so
being a woman in business.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I was like kind of half pussyfooting around this. For those of you who know me, like I'm not politically correct at all. I have no filter. I guess on the assembly line, like they just left the filter out. But like, all right, you know what? I'm going to attempt to be a little bit sensitive for one point in my life, and I wanted to like. So Christina's obviously a woman and a powerhouse business person, and I'm like, listen, you know, it's 2018, almost 19. I walk through the city, no women are wearing bras, they're burning them, whatever. It's women's lib. I'm a feminist. I've been a feminist my whole life, right?
Love hearing that.
My sisters are super independent, love them. So I feel like anybody can do anything, but I was curious. I'm like, in 2018, what is it like to be a woman in? Is it still a man's business world?
It is. It is still a man's world. But remember, my perspective is I'm in insurance. So maybe if you were having this conversation with somebody, and I don't know this profession, but in fashion or a different industry,
okay,
maybe it's different. But in insurance, it's a man's world. Do I have amazing rock star female agent friends like Justina and Heidi who are like bigger powerhouses than me? Absolutely.
What's the percentage? How many? Do you know how many Allstates are in the country?
There's 10,000 Allstate agents across the land.
How many of them are women?
That's a great question. If I had to guess, and I'm like purely guessing, I would say maybe 15 to 20%.
I'm surprised it's even that much. I was going to say 5 or less.
But I could be wrong. I'm going to find that out today.
I'm curious to know. I'm also curious to know like where it's trending.
I think it's trending in the right direction. And I will say, like, my male agent friends, like, one is more amazing than the other. And individually, I have really close relationships. But when you're, like, in a meeting and, like, the guys are going to the steakhouse after and they invite you because I'm, like, I'm their girl. I'm Christina Shaw.
You're one of the guys.
I'm one of the guys.
Yeah.
But it's still different. It's like, do I really want to go because you just feel it. I don't know that I could like put it into words.
I'm trying to understand it, and I mean, I get that obviously there's differences, but I'm trying to understand it in this...
like, are they inviting me because they have to invite me and because I'm their friend? Or is it like, it's guys' night out and now Christina's here?
I don't think it's like that.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
No, I think they genuinely love you and appreciate you.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's that.
But you see it.
I got something like, I got a secret to like, sorry guys, nothing like cool happens at those things that are just like guy things. It's not like, all right, listen, like, you ever see the movie Titanic?
Yes.
You know when like the guys like go and have the brandy and they're like, you know, they think they're in their own special club. No, nothing cool happens in there. It's probably way more exciting when you're there, meaning you, to like
in my story,
break it up versus like just a bunch of guys looking at each other eating steak.
And here's the thing. I think like the young Allstate agents, like my contingency and my friends, when I speak in a meeting, there's complete listening and complete respect. But sometimes you do see a different contingency of people like dismissing you a bit when you're speaking or you're...
So, and I wonder, and this kind of brings me to not to the point or the question, which is like, how much of this is, I'll use prejudice for lack of a better word. How much of this is actually like, even sort of in our own minds because we're so conditioned and hardwired for this?
Yeah, it could be.
Like, are we just people looking at people? Like, would that person be as dismissive if you were a guy just because it's you? Because there's definitely people there that are looking at you like, I fucking hate your guts because you rock.
Or I could
Like-
also be intimidating and I don't realize that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think I'm the nicest person ever. Well, I am the nicest person. But I don't, my therapist always says to me, Christina, you
I love when she starts a statement like that.
I think I'm approachable and like, but he goes, my therapist will always say to me, Christina, you don't realize you shut people down. I don't see that side of me, right?
Yeah.
So I think sometimes I take it as you're being standoffish or you're putting me over here because I'm a female. I'm not realizing I'm just shutting that person down because I have an aggressive personality.
Yeah, I mean, knowing you for a lot more years than I care to admit I've been around, I can say, like, A, I know you, and B, like, I'm a very strong personality, so you and I can, like, it works.
Yeah.
But for somebody, like, you're an intense person.
Yeah.
So, and I have this problem also. Like, I've had relationships thing where, like, you're, like, intense, and I'm like, well, like, this is life. I'm loving it. Let's fucking live it here. Like, I'm not here to count the minutes till death or retirement.
No.
I'm here to get pumped up.
Yes.
Like,
oh my God.
I'm doing a deal, hopefully, with a buddy of mine. I was talking to him. I'm like, listen, bro, if we're going to do this deal, like, you need to get fucking pumped up. Like, if I'm, like, pumped up yelling like we're taking over the world, like, if you don't give me the feedback, this shit ain't going to work. Like, I can't
Love
do
it.
it to the wall.
Love it.
It's just not going to happen. So, I get it.
And there's not everybody appreciates that, which is fine. Wayne Dyer always says, like,
You love Wayne Dyer.
I love Wayne Dyer.
I've never listened to Wayne Dyer.
Oh, I'm gonna send you some stuff
Send me
tonight.
Wayne Dyer shit.
He always says how, like, people are looking for reasons to be aggravated. Like, they're, like, seeking that out in their day, where I'm like, I love hearing about successful people or happy marriages, or, like, I just love hearing about good stuff. I think people think when you're divorced, oh my God, I hate my spouse. I'm like, that sucks. Get divorced, but I don't want to hear it. Like, right? Like, I just want to hear good stuff.
No, I mean, that makes sense. And I feel like if you just think and kind of surround yourself with negativity, like, just negative shit happens. If you surround yourself with positivity and, like, a certain mindset.
You're one thought away from your whole life changing. I really believe that.
Without a doubt. It's just like life, just like the other day, I'm like, you know what? The real estate market is changing. And I was like, fuck, I got, like, a little nervous. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I shouldn't be getting nervous of this because I planned this. Like, everybody knows this stuff. It's like, you know, everybody knows that everything is cycles and that things are going to change and that you have to be innovative and then prepare for that down the road, which I've been doing. And there was, like, a little bit of negativity came into mind. I'm like, fuck this negativity. Like,
but that's good that happens, because sometimes I'll beat myself up. Like, right, yesterday I had kind of a tough day at work, and I was talking to a friend last night, and I'm like, my God, like, I'm negative. And he was like, you're allowed to, like, be in a bad mood.
you're allowed to be a person,
Yes,
like a human being.
Yes. And so I think it's good sometimes because it reminds me, one, I don't want to live in that space, but you're allowed to worry and be negative and be pissed off. And
so, I mean, no, without a doubt. I mean, listen, this is human. It's a matter of, like, do you let it become
you don't want to
consuming?
stay there.
Yeah, you don't want to sit in that place. You want to, like, fall down and look around and say, this sucks, and get up and get out of it. So, like, I'm like, you know what? F this. I'm like, we're doing commercial deals. We're going to shift into something that's a little bit, like, that's different from the market that we're in right now. And there's, like, 3 or 4 opportunities all of a sudden. I'm like, I feel it. I sat up one day. Mark gave me a pep talk in his, like, you know, biblical, whatever religion we're going to end up calling it one day. And I'm like, that's right. I'm like, you know what? And I walked out of here. I'm like, I feel a commercial deal coming. I'm like, it's going to happen. I feel it. It's around the corner. Like, it's going to happen. And all of a sudden, I have, like, these 3 things that are, like, in limbo that are huge.
well, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right?
Shit, did you make that up or you steal that?
No, I stole it from Wayne Dyer. But I believe that it's mindset.
Wait, say that again?
When the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Wait, hold on. I'm writing this down. Everybody at home, write this down.
When the student is ready,
I can't even read my own hand.
the teacher appears. And I've again, from that my personal life, whenever after my divorce, right, I took that time to grieve and I stayed in a space that I wanted to be in. And the moment I said, I'm coming out of this space and I'm ready to meet people and live this next life, guess what? It started happening.
I'm writing this on a Post-it. I'm going to post this on social media. And I'm Wayne Dyer. Listen, I don't know you.
He passed, but I have to tell you.
Oh, he's dead, so I can quote you on this, and it's okay.
I sit outside of Dr. Dyer's condo.
Wait, Wayne Dyer's a doctor?
Yeah, of course he's a doctor.
What do I know?
He lived on Kaanapali Bay on Maui, and when I was there in 2010, I was going through some things in my life. And I stood outside and waited 3 hours for him to come outside. And he smelled like Irish Spring soap. and he patted me.
Shut up.
I swear, and he told me.
This sounds like a religious experience.
He's one of the main reasons I feel like I came out of my divorce being like a happy, positive person and a really present mother.
When did he die?
Was it 2 years? Tom would know. 2 years ago. But he was so nice when we met him. I said, Dr. Dyer, I see you every year at the Javits Center. He went upstairs and autographed stuff for me. It's since burnt down in my house fire, but I'm still laughing.
Damn it.
But yeah, he's a spiritual guru, and I would recommend people to tune into him.
Oh, when did he die?
I think a year or two ago, maybe 2 years ago. But and it's all stuff you know. It's just that reminder, like you're one thought away from your life changing. What you focus on grows, and stop trying to control what you can't control. Christina Shaw.
Do you think you're a control freak?
Yes, I've gotten better. I'm really working on letting things happen, and it's okay not to know the next answer. And I struggle with that. I struggle a lot with I want to know.
Yeah,
like what's happening.
You do want to know.
I want to know.
You do want to know. You know what? And I've been that way myself. But then I just get to the point where I'm like, you know what? I know what's gonna happen. Like I'm gonna make that shit happen.
I know.
Here's my reality. Boom. As I pull out
Oh, I'm excited. Maybe you'll listen to Wayne this weekend. What are we doing here?
Oh no, just keep talking. Doesn't matter. Pretend like I'm not here.
Okay.
we're mid podcast here.
Do you think you would listen to Wayne this weekend?
I will listen to Wayne. I will give Wayne a listen. I will. I go on these 15, 20 mile bike rides at 3 o'clock in the morning when I get home from work, and I'll put that I'll put that in and do it because I need that pump when I'm
if you need a pump, I would suggest a Tony Robbins or the Gary, and I butcher his last name, Vaynerchuk, is it?
Yeah, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yes, yeah.
No, I like him. But you know what it is? I kind of have to cycle through these guys because most of them they have this this main point.
Yes.
Or when they have 30 books, but you really only need to read one book.
Yes.
One book and one chapter, the second book, to realize that just recycling the same shit over and over again. Them. But there's valuable things in that one thing. Yeah. Right? So I've actually never really listened to Tony Robbins for some reason. I
tried to listen to him a bunch of years ago and it didn't resonate, but now he does resonate with me.
I just kind of felt this is weird to say, he was the older version. He was not my dad's, but my dad's inspirational motivational speaker.
Appreciate that.
Our generation has different people. Tony, you kick ass. I'm sure. I'm sorry, man. Don't take that personally. If you're listening to this,
I was going to see him. He's coming to the city a few weeks in November, but I have a weekend away planned. So.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure Tony Robbins wouldn't be impressed with that.
A wild weekend away.
I hope it's a wild weekend.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You need a little wild in your
life. Right? Oh, I have a lot of wild. It's good on that front.
I want to talk about two things before we get you out of here in time for your other appointments. All right. So I'm going to combine. All right. So you guys don't know this, but Christina is a marketing and networking machine. She's everywhere, literally. She does a lot of she's very, very generous in the sense that she does a lot of I'll call them marketing joint ventures where a lot of people will be like, oh, I'm not going to work with another Allstate agent, or I'm not going to work with another investor because they they'll steal my shit and they'll take business from me. And that's not really the case. So I kind of want you to, you've had amazing success in collaborating with other Allstate agents to do all kinds of things. Yeah. So, I mean.
Giver's gain.
Shit, you're just dropping. You know what I need? I need one of those buttons where it's where someone's dropping knowledge in here. We got to get more sophisticated in this place because that was another knowledge drop.
And also, most people, you could tell them what you're doing and they're not going to do it.
Without a doubt.
So, but, and look, I don't give away everything, right? But with the marketing, social media makes it easy, right? We're going to take a picture when we finish. I'm going to tag you. And then when I'm at my next place, I'll take a picture. And people just think I'm in 97 places today, when really maybe I'm in 15. But I think people want to do business with people who are successful and hustling and always somewhere. So marketing, and social media helps you create that image, right? Yeah. Even though that's true.
Yes.
It helps you develop that.
Yeah, I mean...
And Allstate agents, we all bring different value to the table. Do you know what I mean? My experience is getting referrals and having referral relationships with mortgage lenders and realtors. Nice. Whereas my friend Paul is like
Say his last name for me, because
Della Universita.
See, I want to talk about something that we're all doing and he's involved in a minute, but like I need her to say the name because I know I'll butcher it.
But he's like a direct mail and telemarketing genius.
Yeah, and when all of you guys collaborate together, like it's just more business for everybody. Like that's what I say. I'm like, listen, I'll teach anybody like the stuff that I do. I'm like, I have no problem telling anybody what I do and how I do it because I didn't invent any of this shit.
Yeah.
Like this stuff's been around forever. But if I tell you 99 times out of 100, you're not going to do it because like when I'm working at like 3:00 in the morning, you're drunk or sleeping or whatever.
Let's not pick on the drunk people. It happens.
Sometimes on a Monday, apparently.
Yeah, Paul and that whole, there's a culture, I think, I would say at Allstate, but maybe specifically like here on Long Island, of agents that we all do work together.
Yeah.
A handful of us, and we really try to bring the other one up. And we all write a lot of business. There's a gajillion cars on the road.
Yeah.
And a gajillion homes closing.
Yeah.
And a realtor who may love me, may not like Paul, or maybe they don't like me and they like Paul. Like there's just so many relationships to be had.
Yeah, no, there's like I said, I'm like, listen, if I wanted to buy every house on Long Island, I couldn't do it. Like there's so much business. It doesn't even, just like this. Think about it. Every person needs insurance, and not just one type of insurance, like multiple types of insurance. The numbers are just like staggering.
Yeah.
So it's better to collaborate. You'll get a bigger piece of the pie. Before I let you run out of here, I want to talk about Lotus Quotes.
Love it. I can't wait for next Friday.
This is awesome. This is something that we're doing. This is a collaboration between myself, Christina. Christina actually invented this, and I kind of came in and put my 2 cents in.
And made it awesome.
Thank you. I would like to hope
awesome.
I added some value there.
I even told Steph, I'm like, HHB, like, blew this out of the park. Steph.
This is going to
We had to bring up Steph on the podcast.
We love Steph. This is going to be a game changer. So it's Christina, Tom, and you say his name?
Paul. I'll just leave it at Paul. I'm sure I'm butchering it too. Come on.
I thought it was Della University. It's Della Universita?
I don't know.
We got to bring him on the podcast.
That would be awesome.
So he would
rock this.
He would rock this.
He's on his way to Vegas for a mega conference.
Jesus. What, for Allstate?
For Allstate. Yeah, he's a powerhouse.
Yeah, he's
in a different league.
Tom William, myself, and Adam Heller from the Heller Consulting Agency. So you want to kind of give the backstory on this?
Absolutely. So a few months ago, I had this idea where I have, I quote every home that goes into contract on Long Island and every flood, and quote the home and the flood insurance. So I have all this data, and I thought, what can I do with this data to help people and better my business? So I made this website with Tom and Paul to market to mortgage professionals that when they're sitting down with somebody going through a good faith estimate, they could put in 123 Smith Street and up pulls the home and the flood quote, and they could give them an accurate estimate on the insurance. So we make this website. Everything's going great. You know, we have all of our meetings at Panera. And a few weeks ago, I look at Tom and I go, wait a second. I said, Captain Permit needs to be involved in this. And he goes, Captain Permit? I go, formerly handsome homebuyer. And so he looks at me, kind of rolls his eyes. We call you, and but that's Tom. He's always skeptical
Why did he
at
do
first.
that?
No, and now he is like,
is he pumped now?
Oh my God. And when Tom's pumped, like, you better be pumped. I mean, he does this like, and it just makes me mad. Like, don't clap at me. So we meet, this was on a Thursday. We meet on Monday, and you like.
Oh, this is when we met at Panera, right?
Yes. And so I'll let you take over what we're going to. It's amazing.
So I'm like, listen, they're telling me the story. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, you know what we got to do? Because I've been working with my friend on something like sort of similar, but not nearly anywhere as sophisticated. So Adam Heller owns the Heller Consulting Service. He does tax grievances. He's the man. He's made me a ton of money. I've been able to buy rentals and buy houses that I was going to flip that he could grieve the taxes down to improve it within like 30 seconds that other people passed on for that reason. So I'm like, listen, we are like the perfect trifecta here, right? When someone's buying a house, so if you're a buyer or if you're looking to sell a house, if you're an attorney, you need us. If you're a realtor, you need us. If you're a mortgage broker, you need us. Everybody needs us, right? So you need to have certain information. And I figure this trifecta is the perfect group. So you have Christina, this is how essentially the site works. You go to the website, you put in the address, and you put in an email address. We're not going to sit here and torture you. Hell, we don't have time for that. Obviously, you can hear from our podcast. And instantly,
right? You're going to get a quote from Christina that tells you what your insurance is, flood insurance, homeowners, etc. If you want to talk to her about other things, she's happy to. She's the best. You should. You'd be crazy not to. At the same time, you're going to get an email from Captain Permit, and you get an email from Adam Heller. All right. What that says is within 24 hours, you are going to receive a full write-up from the building department, meaning we're going to go there and do a free search for you. Costs us money. We don't care. We don't charge you for it. That tells you what the open permits are, maybe missing permits. This way, if you're a realtor and you're going for a listing appointment, you can see, before I take this, let me deal with the fact that the deck has no permit or an open permit or there's no CO for the dormer or the garage conversion. So you don't get hung up right before closing. At the same time, you also walk in there and say, listen, I don't know if you're aware, your taxes are $16,000, all your neighbors are $12,000. We're going to have a harder time selling this, but Adam's the man and gave me a letter saying you can grieve it down to $11,500 and we're going to attach this to the listing. It doesn't cost you any money, and now I'm a rock star and so are you.
It's, and just
Did
emphasize.
I breathe during
No,
that?
I don't think so. I'm like, wow. It's free.
And it's free.
Free. This is like just
Totally free.
sick.
I mean, obviously, we're here to give value, yes. Do we want the business? Absolutely. But we're going to give you something for free that's so kick-ass that everybody needs that it's just putting positivity out into the world.
And it's really the real estate community that's going to be using it. They're setting themselves apart from their competition. It's, you know, going into a listing and being able to say,
Yeah.
you have an open permit on your deck, let's address this now, versus 36 hours before closing.
Yeah, or they're working with a buyer. They're like, hey, listen, I got an insurance quote. It's amazing. The customer service is out of control. By the way, I did a search on this property. We have to deal with the fact that this thing has an open permit. Well, let's talk to your attorney about it before we go into contract. And, hey, hint, hint, the seller doesn't know, but I think we can get the taxes down on this thing $3,000, so you're getting an even better value.
Or how about people who are selling in Valley Stream not realizing that 40% of Valley Stream is in a flood zone?
I didn't know that.
And
Do you know
48 hours before closing, you or the buyer find out you have a $2,600 flood insurance bill.
You know what I found out the other day? That there are houses that are on the water in Valley Stream. Some guy brought me a deal. He's like, oh, yeah, there's a house on the water in Valley Stream. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no water in Valley Stream. It's in Queens. Isn't Valley Stream in Queens? There's no water in Queens. Yeah, there was a house on the water, like Bulkhead. There's water there.
It's crazy.
Flows.
Yes.
So, Lotus quotes. We're meeting next week.
Friday, 10 o'clock, Tom's office.
Realistically, like, let's be realistic.
I think we're like 2 months away from launching.
I was going to say, by the end of the year, like...
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, beginning of next year, like, watch out.
Amazing.
All right, so I'm already past, like, 3 minutes past my allotted time with Christina.
I got to get to Starbucks or I'm going to combust.
So, again, Christina Shaw, Allstate. What's the phone number? How do they get in touch with you?
516-900-1234. Call or text.
And you know I'm the handsome home buyer 1 minute, the Captain Permit the next. I wear every hat possible. Call me, Cat P, permit problems, anything. Thank you guys. Take care.
Have an awesome weekend.